See, 14th illustration. Mr. Santosh keeps his books by single entry system. From the following data, prepare trading profit and loss account for the year ended 31st 3 2017. So, if you want to do trading profit and loss account for the year and the balance sheet, okay, first you need to prepare the subsidiary books. Which are the subsidiary books you need to prepare? Total debtors, total creditors, bills receivable, bills payable, cash book. These are all the supportive ledger accounts to prepare trading profit and loss and balance sheet. So in this question, what are you supposed to first find out it? Which all the accounts we are going to prepare. So to find out that, first read the transactions what all is given. And always in this chapter for 14 marks concept is each transaction will appear in two places. So if you get to know which places it comes, your problem will tally. Okay, so the main thing which you are going to do here is balance sheet. You have to tally the balance sheet. So to tally the balance sheet, you need to know which entry where it goes. So if you do the posting correctly, then your account will be correct. Okay, so the first thing they have given us is cash book. Whenever cash book is given, it is understood you have to prepare the cash account. Okay, whenever they give the cash book analysis, that means you have to prepare the cash account. And what all things they have given is, they would have given all the expenses and the payments. Okay, so cash is coming inside, cash is going outside, so all those transactions they would have given. Okay, so each entry will appear in two places. So where it will appear, why it will appear, another is a reason which you need to understand. Then it will be easy for you all to identify the entries for the exam. In case if they give any particular entry which you have not learned, you can analyze where it will go. Okay, so the first one let us see is interest charges. What is this interest charges? It is an expenses. One is interest is being paid. Okay, cash is being paid. Another way is it is an expenses, any monthly expenses. Now interest, if you see, you will be paying monthly, so this monthly expenses will go to P&L account. All the cash book transactions will come once in the cash book. Okay, second time it will go to the different places. Okay, so interest charges, it's an expenses. Once it comes in the cash account, second time it will go to P&L account. So in cash account, where does it come? If you see, it comes in the buy side. All the buy side is an expenses, okay, so once you will write in the cash book by interest charges. Second time where it will go, it will go to the P&L account. Now simultaneously I will show and I will tell the transaction and I will record it. Okay, so I'll show you how to do it. So interest charges, cash account and P&L. So what I'm going to do is, in cash account I'm going to write by interest charges. Okay, so buy side what all it comes is, all the cash expenses will come. Okay, all the payments will come, expenses or you can say payment. This side all the receipt. Okay, whatever you're receiving, instead of saying expenses, consider the payment. Whatever you pay comes in the buy side, whatever you receive comes in the to side. So by interest charges is a cash transaction, and interest, since you will pay monthly, it goes to the P&L account. Now when you say P&L account, trading and P&L will be prepared in one table itself. Okay, till half of the way it will be trading. After closing the account, for example, let me consider some few entries are there. So what I will do is, I'll close this account like this. Okay, I'll close it, and again I'll, from the next line if you start writing, it becomes the P&L account. So to interest charges, this side all the expenses will be recorded, and this side all the incomes will be recorded. Okay, so to interest charges, the amount is here 200. Any monthly expenses should go to P&L account. Any daily expenses should go to trading account, and once it will come in the cash book also. So here the interest charges is 200. I repeat, interest charges is given in the cash book. All this entry once will appear in the cash book. Second time it will appear in different places. So where is the second time? So once we have recorded here, second time I have written in the P&L. Why? Because it is an indirect expenses which you will be paying monthly. Okay, to identify, to make it simple, any expenses you pay monthly should go to P&L account. And where is the P&L account? Trading and P&L will be in one column itself. Okay, in between if you put a line and close it, okay, if you draw a line like this, it's called closing the account. Okay, so once you close the account, the next line onwards the P&L will start. Okay, so first one is I've written 2 interest charges. The next one you have, there is personal withdrawals. Anything we use for the personal reason is called drawing. So where it will go? It will go to cash account once, and second time it should go to balance sheet. So I'm going to write here by drawings. The amount is 4,000. Second time it goes to the balance sheet. Okay, balance sheet is all as on 31st 3 2018 closing date. Okay, so 31st 3 2018. I've just written they've asked you to prepare. Okay, 17, it's not 18, it is 17 date. Okay, so 17 I have made it. Now what I'm going to do in the balance sheet, where what are you going to do with this drawings? This drawing you're going to minus in the balance sheet. So what will you do in the balance sheet? How will you minus in the balance sheet? You have a format of year to be done. Okay, always you write that if the amount is there, write the amount. If not, put nil and take it in the outer column. Okay, so you have to write like this. First you should write opening capital. Okay, right, you need to write the amount in the inner column. This is the format which you need to write for all the balance sheet. Opening capital. In case if they give in the question additional, add the additional capital. Okay, additional capital. With that, add, if they give interest on capital, you need to add interest on capital. Okay, if there is net profit in your P&L account, you will add the net profit. Okay, so you will get a value like this. Okay, you will get a value. After that, after adding all the value, you will put up to one particular value. With that, in case if you get loss, net loss, you should minus the net loss. Either you will get net profit or you will get net loss. Okay, if you get net loss, you should minus. You will get a value and then minus drawings. Okay, so this drawings you should minus and take it to the outer column. Here in the question, the drawings is 4,000. Okay, so once we have taken in the cash book, second time I've taken to the balance sheet. The next if you have in the question is staff salary. So salary, once I will write it in the cash book as usual. As I told you, you are going to pay. So by staff salary, the amount is 17,000. Second time, where does it come? It comes in the P&L account. What will you write? To staff salary. Why I am writing in the P&L account? Because salary is a expenses. Daily or monthly, it's a monthly expenses. So I am writing in the P&L account. So staff salary, the amount is 17,000. Okay. The next, you have business expenses. So business expenses, once I'm going to write buy side business expenses 15,800. Second time it will go, it's a monthly expenses, so I'm going to write to business expenses 15,800. Next we have payments to creditor. Now payments to creditor means you are paying, right? So you will write by cash account. Sorry. Yeah, this concept you need to understand. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to write the journal entry. Now payment to creditors means who's the receiver? Creditor account debit, correct? And what do you pay? Cash. So to cash you will write. So in creditor account we will mention to cash. In cash we will write creditor's name. So you will mention here creditor. In the question, in the bracket you can mention payment to creditor. In the amount is 30,000. Okay, so whenever they say payment to creditors in cash account, you write by creditor. Why? Because journal entry is creditor account debit to cash account. So in creditor account, you will mention cash. In cash account, you should mention creditor. Now one entry is over. Second entry, you should not take it to P&L. You should take it to creditor account, because in cash account you mention creditor name. In creditor account you should mention cash name. So go to total creditors account. There you mention to cash. First line I'm leaving. Why? Because for the opening and closing. Okay, so to cash account, or you can write it, no problem, to cash account, and the amount is 30,000. Clear? This is, I'll write the narration here itself. Payment to creditors. So to cash account 30,000. The next one you have there is after payment to creditors, balance at bank on 31st/3/2017. 31st/3/2017 is a closing date. Okay, so it is a cash account closing balance. Cash on hand, balance at bank is one and the same. So both two closing balance are given. So we are going to add up both. Okay, all the closing things will come in the buy side, because cash is an asset. So in cash account, in the asset account, all the opening will be in the buy side, closing will be in the, sorry, all the opening will be in the to side, closing will be in the buy side, right? So I'm going to write here buy balance carried down. Under that, bank balance 4,850 and cash on hand 150. So total is 5,000. Now second time, where will you enter? Now cash, what amount is this? This is the closing balance, right? All the closing balance of the asset and liability should go to balance sheet. Now cash is an asset. Cash is an asset. It is a current asset. So asset means what? Anything which belongs to you. So the closing cash belongs to you. So all the assets and liabilities, closing value should go to balance sheet. Opening value will go to statement of affairs. Okay, so in balance sheet I'll write here all assets and liabilities, closing value will come here. Okay, and here in statement of affairs, opening value of all assets and liabilities. Keep it in your mind. All the assets and liabilities, opening value and closing value will be there, right? So opening value will go to statement of affairs, closing value will go to the balance sheet. Now cash is an asset, so it is a closing value for us. Closing value will go to 31st/3/2017. Bank balance 4,850 and then cash on hand 150. Okay, next you have debtors, receipt from debtors. What is the meaning of receipt? You are receiving. So from whom are you receiving? From the debtors. So when you receive, what is coming inside? Cash is coming inside, right? So cash account debit. From whom did you receive? From the debtor. So you will write to debtors account. In cash account you will mention to debtors name. In debtors account you should mention cash name. So in cash account I will write here to debtors account. Receipt from debtors, the amount is 50,000. Second time, where it will come? In debtor cash account you would mention debtors name. In debtors account you should mention cash account name. So I'll go to debtors account. There I will write by cash account. Receipt from debtors and the amount is 50,000. Next you have cash sales. So cash sale, once I'm going to mention in the cash account. Second time I'll mention it in the trading account. Yesterday I taught you, right? Trading account, we wrote cash sale, credit sale and all. So same thing here. So what will you write? It will go to the cash book, and where it will come, two side or buy side is the question. Cash sale. What is the meaning of a cash sale? You have sold something and you have received the cash. Any receipt, any receiving, where does it come? In the two side. So I'm going to write here to cash sales. What is the amount? 30,000. Second time, where it has to come? Go to your trading account. Write there buy sales. Under that, write cash sales. What is the amount? 30,000. Okay, so here you need to know even the credit sales, and then you will get a value. With that, if there is any sales returns, you should minus the sales return. This is the format for all the question. Okay, but in this problem we don't we won't have sales returns and all. Okay, in case if you have a sales returns, then you need to even minus the sales returns. Clear? So now I had a cash sale here. Once I took it here, second time I took it to the trading account. Okay, now I finished all the cash transaction. If you see all the cash transaction, it is come to the cash account. All the payment is come to the buy side. All the receiving is come to the to side. Okay, but all the entries are there in the cash book analysis. Okay, all the entries. Second time it is gone to the various places. Expenses monthly, whatever you paid, it's gone to the P&L. And then what you paid to the creditor is gone to the creditor account. What you received from the debtor is gone to debtor's account, and cash closing balance is gone to the balance sheet. Okay, and drawings is gone to the balance sheet, and you should minus in the balance sheet. Clear? Now all the entries, and then cash sales comes in the cash account because you are receiving the money, and second time it goes to the trading account in the buy side. Now all the cash transactions are over. Next, if you see, you have the assets and liabilities opening and closing. Okay, first you need to know which all is the asset and which all is the liability. Stock is an asset. Stock is an asset, creditor is a liability, debtor is an asset, furniture is an asset, premises is an asset. So except creditor, rest all is an asset. All the assets opening value will go to statement of affairs, closing value will go to balance sheet. Second time where it will come? To their respective account. Stock will go to stock account, creditor money will go to creditor account, like that. Okay, opening value, closing value. In the previous problem and all, we did the ledger. Opening was there, closing was not there. Correct? So same thing here also. First I'll show you first one. Stock, where it will go? It is an asset. Where will the asset come? It will come first in the statement of affairs account. All the opening value. So I'm going to write here stock. This is the opening value. As on 1/4/2016 I've written. So 18,000 rupees once it is over. Second time where it will come, it should appear in the respective stock account. But we are not preparing stock account, so leave it off. Okay. And where will the closing come? The next one is closing value. Opening value, closing value, both are given. So opening is over. Closing value is 20,440. Where it will come? The closing will go to the balance sheet. So stock, and the amount is 20,440. Clear? So second time, first time opening is come here. Second time it should go to the respective stock account. Over. Stock closing, once it will come in the balance sheet. Second time it should go to the respective stock account. Example, now if I prepare stock account, if I prepare stock account, this is how I am going to do. What will I do? Stock is an asset. So opening will be two side. Closing will be in the buy side, right? So stock opening value, once I took it in the statement of affairs. Second time I am going to write like this. To balance brought down 80,000. Okay, but for this problem, stock account is not required to be prepared. So I am not preparing the stock account. Clear? Now closing, once it is come in the balance sheet, second time it will come in the stock account, but I am not preparing the stock account, so you can just ignore it. And the next, you have creditors. So creditors, first I'm going to take it to the statement of affairs, but creditor is a liability, so I'm going to write it in the liability side. Creditors amount is 16,000. Second time, since we are preparing creditors account, I'm going to write by balance brought down. Why by side? Any liability opening will be in by side. Okay, so keep that in your mind. So it is 16,000. Next, closing value 11,000. Closing will go to the balance sheet, and that is creditors. Amount is 11,000. Second time where it has to go to the creditors account, to balance carried down. This is the closing value 11,000. Okay, next you have debtors. Debtors opening value and closing value. So since we are preparing debtors account, once I will write off here, to balance brought down opening 44,000 and closing by balance carried down 60,000. And both the entries should come in second place. Where it will come? Opening will go to statement of affairs, debtors account, and if you have an adjustment, your adjustments will be only on closing, not on opening. So debtors 44,000 I have written in the second place. Okay, closing, this closing debtors will come again in the balance sheet. So debtors amount, I'm going to write it in the inner column. Why I'm writing in the inner column is because you will have adjustments. Always the adjustment should be done only with the closing value, not with the opening value. So opening will appear two times of the same value in the outer column, but for closing, once it will come in the outer column, when you do in the balance sheet, you should write it in the inner column, because you may have adjustment. Most of the time on the debtors you will have adjustment. Okay, the next, furniture opening value and the closing value. So since we are not preparing furniture account, one time you can leave it off, you can ignore. Second time furniture will come in statement of affairs 2,000 opening value, and closing value will come in balance sheet, that is 2,000. Okay, next, premises means it is a land. So we are opening and closing. Opening is 30,000, closing is also 30,000. So where will this come? We are not preparing any premises account, so one time you can ignore. Second time it will come in the statement premises 30,000, and the closing value will come in balance sheet, that is premises 30,000. Okay, now we finished all the cash transaction, we finished all the assets and liabilities also two times. Now adjustment, even the adjustment will appear two places. The first one, they say 5% interest on Santosh Capital as on 1/4/2016. What is that? On 1/4/2016, it's a opening date. That means on opening capital you have to give 5% interest. So if you want to get 5% interest on Santosh opening capital, first you need to close the statement of affairs. You need to close the statement of affairs. To close the statement of affairs, just check all the opening value is taken it here or not. Like debtors opening value is already taken, creditors opening value is taken. Okay, cash we haven't taken the opening value. We don't know which side we are going to get the differences. In case if you get difference in the two side, that becomes the opening value of the cash account. Okay, so first, before closing statement of affairs, check if your cash book is having the opening value. We need to close that, and also check the other entries, that is trading. After doing statement of affairs only you can go close trading, P&L and all, even the balance sheet, because interest on capital, where we will take interest on capital, you will be taking it in balance sheet once. Second time you are supposed to take it in the P&L account. To interest on capital, Okay, you are going to calculate here and take it. So one time is here, second time is here. So if you want to calculate the value of both the places, first you need to get the opening value in the statement of affairs. Because why do we prepare statement of affairs is a question. Statement of affairs is prepared to find out the opening capital. To find out opening capital, you need to prepare statement of affairs. So if you want to close the statement of affairs, first close cash book. Okay, so cash book, if you see this side you have 80,000, but this side if you see 35, 45, 50, 60, then 60, almost it is lesser than this amount total up. So when you find out the differences of both the side, you have 8,000 rupees difference. Okay, so I'm going to close here the value. This side you have 80,000 rupees. Okay, 80,000 minus all these things, you have 8,000 rupees balancing figure differences. So what will you call when it is in the buy side? If you would have got the difference in the two side, you would have taken it as two balance brought down. Okay, since you have got in the buy side, you can't write buy balance carried on because already closing is given. Okay, so what will you write this? This is called bank overdraft. Okay, it is called bank overdraft. So this is called bank overdraft. And where will this bank overdraft go? It should go to the statement of affairs. So I'm going to write here bank overdraft, that is 8,000. What is the meaning of this bank overdraft? Means, example, you're a business person. The bank will give you an option of taking current account. We all know there is two types of account. One is savings account, another one is current account. All the business people will choose current account. What is the benefit of this current account? Example, in your account you have only 1 lakh rupees, but for a business purpose you need 2 lakh. Now when you go to your account and withdraw the money for 2 lakh, you will get 2 lakh. But you have only the balance of only 1 lakh. How is that possible? That is the benefit what the bank people give to the current account holders. You can withdraw more than your account capacity, but when you pay back the amount, you should pay back with interest. Okay, so bank over means extra, draft means withdrawing more than your account capacity, you are withdrawing. So bank overdraft 8,000. This is the balancing figure taken from cash account. Okay, understood? So even the bad transferring is also got two places. One place is here, second place is here. The next one, now you got the bank overdraft, that is your cash account is closed. Now once you close your cash account, close even your capital account. Okay, so if you see your capital both the side, how much you get, check out. So here you have 18 plus 44 plus 2,000, that is 40, 50, 60, 65,000. Correct? Yeah. Let's check. So it is 30,000. It is 30,000. I thought 3,000. It is 30,000. So it will be like 30 plus 70, 80, 94,000 almost. You will have 94. So you have got 94,000, 94,000. Now with this 94,000, you don't get 94 here. The highest amount is 94. The same value I have taken it here. With this 94,000, if you minus 16 and 8,000, you will have 70,000 rupees differences. Okay, so what is this 70,000 differences? Is called opening capital. This is balancing figure. Now one time it is over here. Second time, where will this opening capital go? In the trading account we usually write to opening capital. Clear? The amount is 70,000. Now on this capital we had an adjustment called interest on capital. So you have to calculate interest on capital. Where the interest on capital will come? It will come in the P&L account. So that is 70,000 into 5%. 5 divided by 100. 20 gets cancelled. So 5 sevens are 35. 20. So 3,500 is the value. Second time it will appear in the balance sheet. Write the value in the inner column 3,500. So everything will appear in two places. Keep that in your mind. Okay. The next one you have is 1,500 rupees for doubtful debts. If you see here, 1,500 for doubtful debts. So this is the monthly expenses. What is doubtful debts? Your debt may come back or may not. You may recover the money or may not recover the money. So where it will come? Once it will appear in the balance sheet. Second time it will appear in the P&L account. Okay. So how will you write? For that you have a format here. So you'll write here first two bad debts. If there is amount, write the amount. Okay. Add new provisions. This is the format. In the coming questions you may come across. Minus old provisions. Provisions for bad and doubtful debts. Now here they say 1,500 for doubtful debts. It is a new one which you will add it. Okay. There is no amount here. So it is 1,500. You will get the same value. There is no old provision. So I will take the amount in the outer column. Here whatever you are adding, you will be minusing here in the balance sheet. New provision. $1,500. So it will be 60,000 minus 1,500. You will have 58,500. Why am I doing it on debtors? Because debtor is a person to whom we sold and that person is supposed to pay back the money 60,000 rupees. In that 60,000 rupees, 1,500 is doubtful to recover. So I am minusing in the debtors account. So remaining 58,500 I would have received. Okay. So new provision for doubtful debts. Always debt should be deducted with the debtors. That's why I told you to write the debtors amount in the inner column. Okay. So once I wrote it in the P&L account, I added here with the bad debts, but bad debts amount was not there. So I just added and took the same value minus with the old provision. Old provision also was not there in the problem. So remaining I put in the outer column. What is this old provision and what is this new provision? New provision will be in the adjustment. Okay. Old provision will be in the question trial balance item, including the bad debts. Okay. So these are the basic things which you would have already learned. The next you have here is 5% depreciation on all fixed asset. On all fixed asset. So which are the fixed assets here? We have stock, it's a current asset. Debtors is a current asset. Furniture and premises. Now since you have an adjustment with this premises and furniture, write the amount in the inner column 2,000 rupees because you have an adjustment. What is the adjustment? Says depreciate 5%. So minus 5% depreciation on 2,000. So that is how much will you get? So here I will show the calculation. 2,000 into 5 divided by 100. 20 gets cancelled. 5 2s are 10 and one more 0. So that means 100 rupees to be deducted. Balance will go to the outer column 1,900. Now this depreciation should appear in the second time in the P&L account because it is a loss for us. So I'll write here to depreciation on furniture 100. So they said depreciate furniture on all fixed asset. Now furniture was a fixed asset. Land is also fixed asset. So write even the land amount in the inner column 30,000. Take it from the outer column minus depreciation at 5%. That means 30,000 into 5 divided by 100. 20 gets cancelled. Okay. So 5 3s are 15. And 2 zeros are there. 1,500. So 27,500 28,500 will be the balance. Now this 1,500 again it will appear in the P&L account. So to depreciation on premises and the amount is 1,500. Okay, now if you see the question, we have finished all the entries. Let us do the totaling now and let us close all the accounts. First close the debtors account. This side you have 60 plus 50, 1,10,000. Okay, so this side you have less, that is 44,000. So balance is 66,000. Anything you get balance in the two side in debtors account, you take it as a to credit sales balancing figure. So where will this credit sales go second time? It goes to the trading account, that is 66,000. Total becomes 96,000 here. Okay, the next, close your creditors account. This side you have 41,000 minus 16,000. Your balance is 25,000. So here you will write by credit purchase balancing figure. This credit purchase, where it will go? It will go to the trading account. So here always to purchase. Under that you should write cash purchase. Now in this problem it was not there. Credit purchase, we got 25,000. With this 25,000, if there is any returns, we are going to minus the purchase returns, but there is no returns. We'll put the amount in the outer column. Okay. Next, what do you have? Next, we have to close the cash account, which you have already closed. You have closed the statement of affairs also. Now let us close the trading account. So trading account, if you see this side, you have 70,000 and have they given the gross profit? Okay, I'm sorry, I missed out one entry, that is the closing stock. Closing stock, once I have taken it here, but second time I missed out. So I'll write it here. By closing stock, the amount of the closing stock is 20,440, because any of the one item only will be missing, two items won't be missing. Okay, so I missed out the closing stock here. So the value of here is 96,000 in the outer column plus 24,000. So it is 11. So 1,16,440 is the value, minus with the 70,000 and 25,000. That is 95,000. If you minus with this 1,16,440, you will get the balancing figure of 73,440. Okay, how much is the opening stock you have got? I'm sorry, I've written the opening capital. It is not opening capital, it is the stock. So where will the stock, what is the stock amount? 18,000. I'm sorry, because only stock has to come in the trading account, not the capital. To opening stock, where is the opening stock? The opening stock is there in the statement of affairs. Okay, I told you we have to write it in the stock account. Yes, so stock is included in the trading account. I have forgotten to tell you this. So stock is there in the trading itself, the opening stock and the closing stock. So you need not prepare a separate account called stock account. Instead of that, record that opening and closing in the trading itself. Okay, so to opening stock 18,000 will appear there. It's not a capital, it is a stock. Then opening capital, where it has to come two times. Once it is coming the statement of affairs, second time you are supposed to write it in the balance sheet, 70,000. Clear? Okay, so opening stock, once it is come here, second time in the trading account. Closing stock once in the balance sheet, second time in the trading account. Clear? And the next you have to close your trading account. So if you close your trading account, you will have 73,440 rupees as the balance. Okay, and what do you call it as? This is called gross profit. Okay, gross profit carried down balancing figure. Now you closed your trading, so this gross profit you should transfer to your P&L account. So by gross profit. It is carried by gross profit brought down. So from next line onwards, it is understood this is the P&L account. Now total up this side. So your total this side is 73,440 minus all these values. Okay, so first see any values to be put in the outer column. There is no amounts which you have to put it in the outer column. Everything is written. So if you see, interest charges is 2,200, 17,000, 15,800, 3,500, 1,500, and what else is left out? Depreciation. Okay, fine, everything is entered. Now do the balancing figure. 73,440 minus all these values, you will get the difference of 33,840, which is called net profit balancing figure. If you get in the buy side, it is called net loss. So once you get net profit, this should be transferred to the balance sheet in the net profit column. So 33,840. Okay, if you get net loss, you should minus the net loss. Now finished all the account. Now close your balance sheet. Before closing the balance sheet, take the amount in the outer column. Opening capital already is there. Additional capital is not there in the question. Interest on capital is done. Net profit is also done. Now total up this. So 70,000 plus 30,000 is 1 lakh. 1 lakh 6,000. Then 7,240. 340, correct? By 10, 13, 7, 1,07,340. Yeah, 340. Net loss is not there. Minus 4,000. If you do 1,03,340. Now tally both the side. Total up both the side. Here this side value is coming up to 1,14,340. Second time, this asset side total up 4,000. See, check out first any values to be taken up outside. Everything is taken. 4,850, 150, then 20,440 is the closing stock. Then 58,500 is taken. 1,900 is taken. 28,500 is also taken. So if you total up, you will get 1,14,340. Okay, so this is the 14 marks question of this chapter. So many accounts you have to prepare, and always remember each entry will appear in two places. That is the concept of this chapter. All the items whatever I took it, now everything is appeared in two places. That if you can identify, the problem will be easy for you all. Okay, if you all have any doubts, kindly ask me. Thank you.